Lewis, great to see you. It looks from the timesheets as a really positive day. Did it feel like that behind the wheel? Feeling more comfortable, say, in the car, just generally? You're feeling like you can extract a little bit more? I know we've only done a couple of sessions of practice, but given how bad last year was at times, can you kind of see that difference?
Yeah, no, I'm much happy with the car this year. My seating position is finally further rearwards. I've got a better feel for the car approaching the corners. But there are other areas that have been fixed and improved, and it just makes it feel it feels like a race car for once. And the last two cars didn't feel that like that. So it's a really good platform for us to work on, and we just got to keep our heads down and keep on chasing.
I know you said the long ones didn't feel quite as good maybe as the Red Bulls. Do you know kind of where you might want to try and work on overnight just to try and shut that gap for the rest of the weekend?
I do, in terms of achieving that. I don't know how necessarily with the new car. Like with a new car, you have all new tools. Everything's been redesigned, and so all the previous numbers and names for things are completely shifted. So you're learning a whole new vocabulary when it comes to the car setup. And we've tested some of them, but not all of them, because we only had a day and a half. So, we have to see. I hope that we can make a step. I got a bit of an idea, but I don't know how to achieve that yet currently with the setup changes without affecting the other side of things. So a single lap, lightweight. So we'll see.
If you find all the right directions, do you think you can be in the mix this weekend for the podiums?
I think we're going to be in the mix. I think it's a bit too early to say, but I think we're thereabouts with Ferrari and maybe Aston and McLaren. I don't know exactly where we lay with those guys, but we're around those. So it's going to be close. A nice battle with us. I think if Max is in the front, he will veer off, as he has done for the last couple of years.
Great, so have fun. Thanks. Hey Max, it looked pretty tricky out there for you across both sessions. We heard you early on, the upshifts and downshifts weren't feeling too good, and then in the second session you didn't look super comfortable. Kind of how was it for you?
I think it was not too bad. It's just that I think it's very close. Maybe some people around us already turned up the engine a bit, in terms of top speed. But we just focus on ourselves, and I think from today there were a few little balance issues from front to rear, but nothing big. It's just about trying to find that sweet spot, and especially around here, with the rough tarmac. Once you get it into that sweet spot, you just pick up time, and that's what we'll try to focus on a little bit more for tomorrow.
Did it feel like you were pretty close to that sweet spot? It's just little things that you've got to find.
It's not too far away. It's just trying to get into it, and then feel a little bit happier with the car. But at the end of the day, you also just want to focus a bit on the long run, because that's where the car really needs to work. Of course, qualifying is important, but we need to make sure that the car is in good shape for the race.
So if others are maybe turned up their top speeds, that means you guys haven't done that yet, and you're kind of just doing your own program and focusing on what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, I don't say everyone around us did that, but a few did. So I'm not too worried about the gap to P1, for example, but it's going to be very close, I think, in qualifying, so that's, I think, going to be very nice. And then, the long run, I was a bit happier about that. But again, also there are a few little things that we can do better.
So George, from the outside at least, this looks like a much stronger start to the season for Mercedes. What's your take on today's action?
Yeah, we're not going to get carried away with ourselves. The qualifying pace looked really strong. We still need to try and understand why it was so good. We made some changes from the tests, and it exceeded our expectations. But ultimately, the long run pace, which is where it all happens, Max was still ahead of us. It was very close with Fernando, with Lando, and the Ferraris, and Lewis and I were very similar as well. So we've got a real fight on our hands in race pace. But as I said, we're really pleased with the day. The car's performing really well, but we're not going to get carried away just with the timesheets just yet.
We saw you had a bit of a moment at turn 11 on your soft tyre run. Can you talk me through that and maybe a bit more to come?
We had an issue actually. We made a small error with the setup adjust, and I was bottoming massively. I don't know if you could see all the sparks. Something didn't feel quite right. I went into turn 1, I locked up. Turn 11, the car was bouncing through, and it was only when we saw the data we realised that we made a small adjust, and we fixed it for the next one. So better now than tomorrow. And as I said, we're still learning this car. For myself and Lewis, for the engineers, for the mechanics, it's new, and these things happen. But as I said, it's been a really strong day.
But generally feeling good and excited heading into qualifying tomorrow, where all the talking stops.
100%. We need to, sit down and understand where this increase in performance has come from, whether it's a one-off, whether we can sustain this. and what we need to do to fight for a serious position on Sunday. As I said, our aim is to try and focus and fight for victory. After testing, Max looked a long way out in front. Now that gap has reduced, but he's still out in front, and I think he's still got a healthy margin to the others rather than just a ridiculous margin to the others. So, by no means does this mean we're back or we can fight with them just yet. But as I said, really, really solid day.